straight ahead on WBKV News at 11. The Alpena Farmers Market is helping children eat healthier this Halloween. Plus, the First Congressional United Church of Christ hosts the 41st Annual Serve Bazaar to lend a hand for those in need. And a local homeowner welcomes trick-or-treaters to check out their spooky decorations. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. The news that affects you starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKV News at 11.
Happy Halloween, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Neil Liwanag. This morning, friends of the Alpena Farmers Market celebrated Halloween with a healthy trick-or-treat event at the Alpena Mall. The Alpena Farmers Market builds an adaptable market that allows year-round produce and hosts community educational programs and events. Local children started off their Halloween ride with apples, oranges, and various other healthy snacks. Today's Halloween healthy trick-or-treat event was a prime example for local vendors to help promote healthy living on a day that generally consists of distributing unhealthy treats.
When you go around to the door to door and can't really give out apples and candy and healthy stuff, you got to give the packaged candies. When you're getting it from one of the farmers market vendors, at least you know who it's coming from, and it's going to be you're going to get something healthy from the kids.
The Alpena Farmers Market continues throughout the fall and winter seasons on Saturdays at the Alpena Mall. The First Congressional United Church of Christ held the 41st annual sale of handcrafts and food items to raise funds for SERVE. SERVE is a nonprofit organization that helps eradicate poverty through direct connections with low-income artisans and farmers. Several items were on sale at the church, including handmade scarves, gift baskets, jewelries, and homemade spices. All proceeds from the 41st annual SERVE sale of handcrafts will benefit over 32 countries struggling with poverty. SERVE's purpose is to build relationships from different parts of the world, spiritually and emotionally.
One of the most moving things for me personally was after 9/11, the producers, the people who make the crafts, hundreds of them wrote into SERVE and said, "Are you okay? You know, we are so sad about what happened. You know, we're with you."
SERVE is hosting another sale on Saturday, December 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the First Congressional United Church of Christ. The Emmanuel Lutheran Church continued today's Halloween festivities with the third annual Trunk or Treat Night. The rain didn't stop all the fun as the event continued inside the church. Local children came out in different types of costumes such as Batman, Donatello, a race car driver, and several princesses. The church hosts this annual event as an opportunity for the children to celebrate and collect candy in a supervised environment. Trunk or Treat was an incredible treat for the parents, the church, and everyone involved with the event to see the kids gather in costumes and having a great time.
We want them to be able to experience the joy of being with other kids and not only to be able to celebrate trick or treat in a nice, safe place where they can be with other people that are supportive and mentoring and that sort of thing.
Emmanuel Lutheran Church is already looking ahead for next year's 4th annual Trunk or Treat event. For the 13th year, various types of jack-o'-lanterns were on display for the public to enjoy this Halloween evening. For one night only, the pumpkins were shining bright for everyone to admire as they trick-or-treated in the Ferncliff neighborhood. In addition to the jack-o'-lanterns, locals also heard some spooky-themed music such as Michael Jackson's Thriller and Ray Parker's Ghostbusters. In conjunction with Take 5 Deli, the homeowners were able to showcase their pumpkin carving skills, and every year they add more lanterns to cater to the current pop cultural trends.
Some of the pumpkins are repeat patterns. A lot of times we tried to pick a few themes of something that's popular that year, or something that we know is going to be popular that year, such as Star Wars, Minions, and we try to go with a few themes, and then other than that we just have a pile of ideas and people just pick from them.
Keep an eye out during the Christmas season because Jessica and her husband are planning to put up festive decorations. Despite tonight's nonstop rain, trick-or-treaters were out in full force, and one local home attracted plenty of costumed children. Kids and adults packed the wet streets of Alpena, but one particular house off Island View Drive captivated locals throughout the night. The house was decorated with various scary figures such as ghouls, zombies, Jason, Freddy Krueger, and more. For the last 10 years, owners of this lovely home turned the place into a spooky and horrifying house for everyone to enjoy during Halloween. The homeowners spend well over $1,000 a year to make this possible and say it's all for the kids.
They love it. They'll tell me, Mrs. Bohm, this is the spookiest house. We love it. Don't ever stop doing it. It's amazing. They can't get enough of it. They can't stop staring at the creatures. They just absolutely love it. It's just a great night. Even in the rain, it's a great night.
Mrs. Bohm and her husband were thrilled to have such a great turnout of trick-or-treaters this year. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, find out why startups will now be able to offer investors a piece of their company by legally selling stocks online. All that and more next. Welcome back. In your Money Watch, robocalls could be soon coming to cell phones. A provision in the federal budget would permit auto-dial debt collection calls and texts on cell phones, but only on debt owned or guaranteed by the federal government, including student loans, mortgages, and taxes. A new form of crowdfunding is coming to Main Street after a second ruling. Starting next year, startups will be able to offer investors a piece of their company by legally selling stocks online. For investors, it's a chance to get in early on the next Twitter or Uber. But these types of startup investments often come with high risk. Companies that make diapers, baby strollers, and infant formula are getting a big boost on China's stock market after the government scrapped its one-child policy. Communist leaders recently announced married couples can now have 2 children. On the flip side, stocks took a dive for a popular birth control manufacturer. If you're heading to the pump, GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan helped us find the highest and lowest gas prices locally and across the state. The lowest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $2.18 at Admiral. The highest is $2.19 at Marathon. Across the state, the lowest price at the pump is $1.98 in Flint, and the highest price is coming in at $3.09 in Trenton. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Kyle Logan will be in with sports, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. It is now time for a look at the weather. Today your high was at 49 degrees, your low was at 37 degrees. Normal high was 50 and your normal low was 32 degrees. Record back in 1950 was 77 degrees and your record low back in 2010 was 19 degrees. Sunrise was at 8:11 a.m., sunset at 6:24 p.m. Looking at your current conditions, it is currently 46 degrees outside with a humidity of 89%. And taking a look at your radar, you can see the heavy clouds covering the whole state of Michigan, which leads us to tonight. Tonight, more rain with temperatures in the upper 40s, southwest winds at 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we'll see a chance of showers with temperatures of 50 degrees. And tomorrow night, that rain system clears up, but we'll see mostly cloudy skies with temperatures in the lower 40s. And now taking a look at our extended weather forecast. There's your extended weather forecast. Monday, partly sunny with highs in the 60s. Tuesday and Wednesday, mostly sunny skies with highs in the lower 60s. And Friday, you've heard of Batman Return, but in this case, the rain returns with highs in the 50s. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Rod Gretka of Mankato. Now, this is a photo Rod took of 4 raccoons eating bird seeds right in front of his front door. Check out these little guys out chowing down on some bird seeds. Thank you, Rod, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your Health Watch, pregnant women can eat during labor according to a new study from the American Society of Anesthesiologists. Doctors have long recommended expectant mothers fast while delivering because of concerns of a woman might inhale regurgitated liquid or food if she needs to undergo general anesthesia for a cesarean delivery. But new research finds that almost never happens thanks to improvements in anesthesia. Researchers say eating a light meal could be beneficial, giving the mother and baby more energy. The American Academy of Pediatrics is now recommending banning sales of all tobacco products, including e-cigarettes, to people under 21. Doctors warn the growing popularity of e-cigarettes is threatening to addict a new generation of teens. And low-fat diets are not the most effective for long-term weight loss, according to a new study from Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Researchers reviewed more than 50 studies that found low-fat diets were no more than successful diets than with a higher fat content when it comes to keeping off the weight for more than a year. In national news, at least 6 people have died so far this weekend from flooding in central Texas, and it's not over. Tornadoes are also in the mix, threatening to Gulf states. CBS News' Omar Villafranca has more.
Overnight in Houston, emergency crews rescued 90 people from fast-moving water. The system spawned 2 tornadoes in suburban Houston, toppling trees and damaging buildings. It was the same storm that battered central Texas for a second night, turning the usually calm Guadalupe River into a raging waterway. Roads around low-lying creeks in the area filled up, making driving nearly impossible.
So it's flooding here.
Kerry Packer somehow managed to stay calm as Austin floodwater started carrying his car over a bridge. He called 911, then took this amazing video on his phone.
So you can see I'm floating down some sort of creek.
Kerry floated for more than half a mile before grabbing a passing tree branch and climbing to the top. Moments later, he snapped a picture of his car as the river swallowed it up.
I know, survival skills, so I knew once I was on a strong tree, I was going to be fine.
He waited for help on the top of the tree for almost 5 hours before being rescued. Residents in this Austin neighborhood say it's going to take them a few weeks to clean up all this mess. That line of storms is now heading across Louisiana into Mississippi and Alabama. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Austin, Texas.
In international news, a Russian plane crashed shortly after takeoff from Egypt, killing all 224 people on board. ISIS is claiming responsibility, but both Russia and Egypt deny it. Brian Webb is in New York with the latest.
A Russian Airbus 321 like this one took off around 6 a.m. Saturday morning from Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, a Red Sea resort city popular with Russians. The Metrojet was on its way to St. Petersburg when the pilot radioed the control tower to report technical problems. The plane went off course and disappeared from radar about 20 minutes into the flight. Military search helicopters spotted wreckage of the plane in the Sinai Peninsula, the same area where government and Islamic State militants have clashed. ISIS has claimed responsibility, but provided no evidence and are not known to have the capability to bring down a plane at those heights. A caravan of ambulances transported the dead to a morgue in Cairo. Victims' family members gathered at a hotel near the St. Petersburg airport where grief counselors were on hand to help them cope. Secretary of State John Kerry sent condolences from his trip to Asia.
We extend our sympathies to the families and all those concerned.
Investigators have recovered the plane's black boxes. The data holds critical information that will help determine what caused the latest air disaster. As loved ones wait for the bodies to be flown back to Russia, a memorial is growing at the airport in St. Petersburg.
In light of the crash, several airlines have decided not to fly over the Sinai Peninsula until further notice. Sports is coming up next, and Kyle Logan is here with a preview. Kyle?
Neil, tonight in sports, the Alpena Flyers and Detroit Red Wings hit the ice, and the Michigan Wolverines were fresh off a bye. Also a big day in local volleyball. The North Star Tournament took place this afternoon. To see what went down, you have to come on back. Sports is next. On this rainy Halloween, there was a lot of great action indoors, with this being a big day for volleyball in the local area. Over in Oscoda, the Owls were hosting the North Star Tournament. This tournament consisted of 10 teams, all 5 from both the Big and Little Dipper. By the end of the day, each division would crown a champion. Each match just 2 sets, and point differential would prove vital. We'll start in the Little Dipper. Posen versus All Gray Sims. Two teams from the Little Dipper, 2 of those best coming in. First set tied at 3. Wolverines serving. The Vikings set up Samantha Leonard on the outside. The soft spike for the kill, and Posen leads by 1. A few points later, All Gray serving again. This time it's Brooke Siarkowski. She's looking for the kill outside, but she finds the net, and it's the Wolverines who now lead by 1. Posen trails by 4, but they show some fight. Instead of setting it up, Jenna Hinska does it herself. The soft touch finds the line, and it's 12-9. Now Posen serving. Kara Caulfield simply looking to get it back over, but she doesn't put enough oomph on it, and Posen ties this thing up at 21. Now set point for All Gray. Opportunity for Cassidy Thurman in the middle, and she connects. The Wolverines take the first set 25-23, but lose the second set 26-24. Point differential the same, so it is indeed a tie. Next up for All Gray was Fairview. A win would more than likely clinch the division title. First set tied at 3. All Gray sets up Cassidy Thurman on the outside, but the net is unforgiving, and the Eagles lead by 1. The Wolverines take over from there. Kylie Gordon serving. Too much spin. That's an ace, and All Gray leads 8-4. Move ahead. Fairview mounting a charge, but Andrea Ford finds the net as well, and her team is down 16-10. A couple points later, Thurman, the monstrous serve. Fairview is able to dig it out, but it falls too close to the net, and the Wolverines lead by 9. And now set point, the Eagles return serve. All Gray sets it up on the outside, and look at the flick of the wrist. All Gray takes the set 25-13, but they lose the second set 25-16. The 2 split, but the Wolverines get the win due to the +3 point differential. However, they left themselves vulnerable, and with Posen beating Hale in their final game 2-0, they are able to take the division crown. Over in the Big Dipper, all eyes on Rogers City, unbeaten in conference play coming in here against Oscoda. First set tied at 3. Jana Hant serving. Simply too much heat. Off a couple Owls and down, and RC leads 4-3. Now tied at 7. A couple of very nice returns from both sides. Eventually, Sarah Merritt seeks the kill, only finds the net, and the Owls take the lead. Hurons back up by 2. Mariah Eberhardt able to get the final hit over. Rogers City sets up Allie Stripes. The soft touch just out of reach, and RC goes up by 3. A few points later, Meredith, she's going to get the second chance. This time she connects. The Hurons take a 7-point lead. And now set point, Oscoda serving. Meredith can't find any open space here. Owls are going to set up Sienna Fry, but to no avail. The Hurons take the set 25-15, and they go on to take the second set 25-17. The Hurons would follow this win up with a big 2-0 win over the Alcona Tigers to take the division crown, and they remain unbeaten. The Alpena Flyers in quite the slump right now, still early in the season though. Going into this weekend's action, Eric Peterson's club sat 3-9, losers of their last 3. The good news, the team had a weekend off, and the hope was that they could turn things around. Unfortunately, the hope is going to have to turn towards next weekend. Game 2 against the Tri-City IceHawks did not go as planned thanks to a 4-1 defeat. The IceHawks put up 2 goals in the first and 1 in each of the next 2 to pick up the victory. The lone goal for the Flyers was scored by Samuel Charbonneau in the first. And Alpena will now return home to meet the IceHawks once again next weekend. As for the Red Wings, it was a much better night. That full screen not showing up, but the Red Wings, they did end up beating the Ottawa Senators 5-3 tonight to overcome last night's victory. But we'll scrap that and we'll go on to college football. There's that full screen. As you see, the Detroit Red Wings, they won 5-3. So we'll go ahead and move on to the Michigan Wolverines. So they're playing this Halloween night, made for some great college football. No better scene than the one that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, outside TCF Stadium that you see there. The Michigan Wolverines, Jake Rudolph, he's going to hand it off to the fullback, who's going to take it in. Michigan was down 3-0 there, but they're going to go up 7-3. And that really just kind of sets it up. Here come Minnesota. They have to punt, but a low-line drive kick is easy pickings for Jabril Peppers. He catches it on the run, speeds around most of the Golden Gophers, all except the punter. But great field position nonetheless. A few plays into the drive, QB Jake Rudolph, he's going to drop back and find J.U. Chesson over the middle. That's a TD, and the Wolverines take a 2-possession lead. Now late second quarter, Michigan up 14-6, but Minnesota is not ready to go to the half just yet. Quarterback Mitch Leidner, the fake. He's going to roll out right side, chuck it deep downfield. Rashad still makes the catch. A beautiful cut back to evade the last Michigan defender, and he takes it to the house. The Golden Gophers would tack on a field goal, and they enter the locker room with a 16-14 lead. Skip ahead to the fourth quarter. Michigan down 26-21, and let me note, starting quarterback Jake Rudock out of this game due to injury. Third stringer Wilton Spate in, and that's no problem. Less than 5 minutes left. Spate drops back, and he's able to find J.U. Chesson over the middle. That should sound familiar. Big Blue is back in front. With a two-point conversion, Michigan up 29-26. Now here comes the exciting ending. Minnesota on the half-yard line, down 3, and they go for the win. The QB sneak, and Michigan's D stuffs it. The Wolverines hold on to get their 6th win of the season. The Wolverines hold on to get their certainly one of the most exciting wins for Michigan this season, and certainly one of the most important. Now a couple more scores to show you. First, the Chippewas from Central Michigan on the road, and they defeat Akron by the final of 14-6. Quarterback Cooper Rush threw for 226 yards, and the team's 2 scores on the day. The defense came away with 1 turnover, and despite allowing 277 total yards, allowed just the 1 score, and CM gets their 5th win. In case you missed it, on Thursday night, Eastern and Western Michigan did battle. The Broncos walked away with a big win thanks to an offense that put up 595 total yards. Jamari Boggan put up 4 touchdowns on the night, and Western picked up their 5th win as well. So, Neil, a big win for Michigan, certainly, to overcome that just kind of a travesty 2 weeks ago against Michigan State. But the big question is, next week they get Rutgers at home. What's Jake Rudock's status going to be? He took a big hit late in the third quarter, ended up missing the rest of the game due to some neck pain. So, you had the sophomore quarterback come in there, and he played really well, but you're going to want your senior leader in next week. So the hope is that he will return.
Another close game for Michigan. Another heart-stopping win for them, and they almost lost it as well, too.
But a win nonetheless. A third loss would have been crucial to this season, so they really need to keep winning, and Jim Harbaugh can't afford another loss.
Absolutely not. Thanks, Kyle. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, we'll tell you about this homeowner who is treating his neighborhood with extravagant Halloween decorations. Find out next. Welcome back. Now, in celebration of Halloween, we usually see jack-o'-lanterns, ghosts, and other decorations outside of people's houses. But a Southern California man takes things to a whole new level. Here's the story.
What appears to be an amusement park is actually Rick Polizzi's front yard.
I want a lot of spectacle.
Spirits here. Every night in the 10 days leading up to Halloween, 4,000 to 6,000 visitors stream into this normally quiet neighborhood to experience Halloween.
Is it scary? No, it's just really cool.
The idea of a fright-free Halloween began when he took his young daughters to their first haunted house. It didn't go well.
They run out screaming.
Right.
Not happy.
No, not at all.
Polizzi, a former animation producer for The Simpsons TV show, decided he could build something better.
How much is your allowance for this?
It usually runs between like 10 and 12,000 each year.
And it also costs Polizzi time. He starts putting up pumpkins in July.
Do you think there's a point where your wife and children will be like, enough?
Oh, yeah, they did that 10 years ago. So,
With his daughters now all grown up, Polizzi insists every year will be his last.
Isn't that the coolest?
But moments like this always pull him back.
Good job. Some have introduced their kids to us now, little babies, and that makes me feel terribly old.
Still, he's not ready to give up the ghost anytime soon.
That's interesting, Kyle.
It is interesting, Neil.
Well, Kyle, where's your costume?
I decided to dress professionally tonight. Just the quick transformation, though. I'm very impressed with how fast you were able to change.
Well, I'm nearly wanted right now, but I'm here to fight crime because I'm Batman.
Well, there's not much of Halloween left, so hopefully you will be able to get out and fight crime as long as possible in the 30 minutes that you have left. But remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that will do it for tonight's show. Be sure to catch us tomorrow night at 11. Good night and happy Halloween.